What's going on, everybody? It is the one and only Solemn Q here on a very somber and very melancholy day, if you will. The unfortunate thing has happened. That's right, the unfortunate thing that everyone's dreading in this COVID-19 thing, this whatever it is going on, this global pandemic. And yes, I am devastated to say these words aloud, but I will anyway. It has been indefinitely delayed. That's right. Iron Man VR has been indefinitely delayed on PS4. I know you're as devastated as I am. But let's just flip it around again into somewhere and a game that people actually care about. Yes, two games, first party or first exclusive, if you will. I'm all over the place. I'm just disheveled. I'm a mess. I'm emotionally distraught by this news. But yes, Iron Man VR, the one that no one cares about, has been indefinitely delayed. But the more important one that everyone does care about, and the reason why I'm talking about this, is that The Last of Us Part 2 is indefinitely delayed as well. Of course, they're going to keep watching over this whole thing and see when it's available and viable to do so and actually launch and ship the game. Now, I've seen a couple of things out there. We're going to look at it from a couple of different ways. They have said that the game is basically done and is on track to release on what would have been May 29th. However, because of logistical issues and stuff involving outside of the game development, they can no longer meet this deadline. Now, what many people are taking this as a cover-up, which is just mad levels of conspiracy theory if you ask me. But basically, some people out there are saying, oh, they're just using this as an excuse. The game has trouble delays and, development hell as it is, blah, blah, blah. But no, realistically, if what they say is true, which it probably is, because look at the world around us and what's actually happening, that various stages in the supply, manufacture, production, shipping, etc., even down to retail chains for physical editions are completely disrupted. They have no proper time frame on this. Some people out there wonder, well, why don't they just delay it by 1 month? And what happens if nothing changes in 1 month? What happens if June 29th rolls around and nothing has changed? Then they just delay it 1 more month, and 1 more month, and 1 more month, every single month, progressively pissing more and more people off. I should say progressively pissing more and more irrational people off, because let's face it, yes, I am really, really looking forward to The Last of Us Part 2. It's one of my two biggest hyped games for this year. The other one being Final Fantasy VII Remake. But yeah, you see my point here. It's one of the two biggest ones that I was hyped for. Now, do I understand this? Absolutely. Am I going to be pissed off at them for this? Absolutely not. I completely understand why they're doing this, and I'm going to bear no ill will against them for this. Now, some people are also saying, oh, they can just release it digitally on May 29th. That's kind of unfair, if you ask me, because I know in the likes of my case, for example, I am going to be buying the, what is it called? There's like 4 or 5 different editions of the game. I'm going to be buying the, what I believe is called the collector's edition of the game. It's not the big super top end Ellie edition. It's the one down from that. I think it's the collector's edition. So why should everyone else get to what they see? They want to get it all out at once and avoid spoilers for certain people and all as well. It would be unfair for them to expect people like myself to either just completely disappear off the internet for several months while potentially God knows how long it's going to go on for before we can actually pick up a proper physical copy safely. But also, if you look at it, it would kind of incent people to buy 2 copies. They could buy that digital day 1 edition and then pick up their physical one for their shelf down the line. But no. There are still a significant chunk, albeit a shrinking significant chunk, if you will, every single year of physical game sales. Now, granted, a game like The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be Sony's biggest first-party game, at least, of this generation. I don't care what you say about Uncharted 4 or God of War, this is going to slap it down, hands down, in every single aspect, especially commercially being the big one. So yeah, even if you might only get 30% of your entire amount of sales in the physical realm, imagine how many that 30% is a number of. If that's 30% of, let's say, 20 million units, well, That's 6 million games. Wait, is that right? Yes, that's 6 million games. So, I mean, that's 6 million physical copies. So, you can see why it's a bit of a big deal. So, yes, it is delayed indefinitely, just like Iron Man VR, which, well, yeah. But I think it is kind of funny. Yesterday I restarted what will be my final, or what was planning on being my final Last of Us Remastered, pre Last of Us Remastered 2 run on PS4 hardware. I say that because I'll probably end up playing it on PS5 down the line or something like that. But this was my primer in order to get it ready, get myself ready, and get myself going for The Last of Us Part 2 when it was supposed to launch at the end of next month, May 29th. But for the moment, I will be waiting, anticipating, with bated breath. Who knows? Maybe they're secretly really just delaying it so they can have a day one launch with the PC port.